So it's time to start telling these kids the truth, okay? We can't keep going on pretending the world is not what it is and what it's trending to be. We got to prepare these kids, start giving them some tools so they can fight for their futures. Because, see, we weren't told, Generation X, the baby boomers and earlier generations didn't tell us the truth. Now, I'm not saying they lied. I'm not saying that. But those old folks, those civil rights era folks, got it wrong. And it's time for us to acknowledge. They never going to acknowledge it. They can't be wrong. They right. They march. They want to brag about that shit. It didn't accomplish nothing. We actually have less than they had. Less. So we gave up all our economic stabilities during the civil rights era, and we got nothing in return for it. So it's time to tell these kids the truth. What we were told was go to school, do good in school, go to college, get a good job. Or at least 2 out of those 3 things, and you'll be all right. Well, that formula doesn't work. It doesn't work for us. It just doesn't. So we got to start telling our kids it don't work and telling them what does work. Okay? We need to start encouraging our kids to develop businesses. Develop them businesses. That way they're not dependent on working for anyone else from another nation. Because, see, right now, if we want something as black people, we, just like the Bible said, you're going to have to go to the other nations to get clothing, to get food, to get shelter. That's what we're doing. We got to break that trend. We got to break that trend. And the way we start breaking that trend is by telling these kids the truth. Because we haven't been doing that. We've been doing the same thing our parents did with us and our grandparents did with us. So we got to stop doing that. Got to stop doing it. Tell them the truth at an early age, elementary school, so that way they can start fighting. Because the other kids in the other nations, they fighting. The Indian kids ain't playing. The Japanese kids ain't playing. The Chinese kids ain't playing. And they got land and resources and wealth behind them. We don't have any of that. All we got is spending power, consumers. So we got to stop being consumers. We got to start talking to our kids. We got to educate ourselves a little bit on some economics and give our kids the correct information. That's what we got to start doing. And I'm sorry, old folks. I really don't care what y'all think. Because you were wrong. The numbers don't lie. All of the economic indicators are worse for us than they were for y'all. And we did what y'all asked as a group. I'm talking not individuals. Some of y'all did right. But we got to start doing right as groups of people. That's why we don't fare well economically, because we don't understand that economics is a team sport. It's a group sport. Y'all taught us to think like individuals. That's what's going on now. But we can't even go on a job like y'all did and work for 20 years. Most of the jobs are you on a job between 2 and 4 years. That's a statistic, people. That's a statistic. Y'all income was higher than ours. Yes, it was. Median household income in 1976, when I was born, was almost $16,000 a year. So if you translate that $16,000 into today's money, that would be a median household income of $63,000 a year. Well, the highest income earners, which are Asians, aren't at 63. Do the math. We're far behind. Because we wanted to chase civil rights. We wanted to be able to drink out of the same water fountain. Okay? We wanted affirmative action. Most of us ain't benefiting from it. I went to a black school. You ain't get affirmative action at that school, at black schools. And you're less likely to get accepted into a white school. So most of us, even if you're a smart kid ready to go to college, you aren't going to these white schools. Who's going? Their kids are going because they're legacy kids. Because they pass things down to their kids. We need to start passing things down to our kids. So our grandparents owned houses. So why aren't we inheriting some of that? Because, see, that's what other groups of people do. They pass things down to their kids. But what do y'all old folks want to do? Y'all just want to hold on and shit forever. Most of y'all don't even have wills or a plan in place. So it's a scramble. While the other groups that we got to compete against, they coming in the game. We competing with them now. They already inherited stuff. Their parents are still alive, but their parents already have transferred houses and wealth and resources to them. So that's why a high school dropout, a white high school dropout, makes more money than a college graduate that's black. That's a fact. But see, y'all don't pay attention to that. Y'all got your heads in the stand still. So again, I don't care what you said. Y'all ain't gonna be here that much longer. So we gotta change things for our kids. I know it's harsh, and I'm not trying to be nasty. That's the reality of it. Y'all had y'all time, and y'all fucked it up. That's the reality of it. Y'all haven't passed anything on to your kids, to your grandkids. None of y'all as a group. I guess y'all was thinking y'all was going to take it with you. But see, the other groups is doing this. They passing houses and rental properties and wealth along, insurance policies, they passing that stuff along to their kids before they even die. And we got to go compete against those kids. So even when they drop out of high school, they got significantly more wealth than us, and we busting our asses. We busting y'all eyes, oh, they're lazy, they ain't doing this. We're more efficient workers, we're better productive, we're more educated than y'all. These are facts, not man's opinion. Bureau of Labor Statistics, look it up. These are facts. So you can't argue with facts. Just because LeBron doing good and Oprah doing good, the total amount of wealth has not changed. So all they doing is shifting wealth around from one to the other. We ain't taking nothing from them. We not able to compete with them. The concentration of wealth for black people is the same as it was when slavery ended. The day slavery ended, it is the same amount. So where is the progress? So here's the solution. My generation, got to start making a way when we preparing these kids that's coming up, telling them the truth, so they know they got to compete. A lot of these kids get out into the workforce and don't even realize they got to compete. So they already been working for 10 to 20 years. And then they might get smart and go, oh, these other people are competing with us. But see, y'all love white people and y'all wanted to march. And why would somebody who stole from you turn around and give something back to you? They're not going to do it. They haven't done it. Other groups of people don't come over here looking for civil rights. They come over here looking for economic opportunities. And they create them within their communities and then they pass them down to their kids. I had a conversation with somebody recently about the Mexicans. They came over here and they working all in the housing industry where they doing drywall and plumbing and carpentry. They didn't have those skills before they came over here. They got those skills here. They wasn't building houses in Mexico. They started doing that here. So how did they learn how to do it? We taught them how to do it in America. So the same programs that we had in the 50s and 60s, we gave those up, and the white people gave it right to the Mexicans. So when they started flooding over here in the late 70s and they started really doing it again in the late 90s, they was coming over here getting programs to teach them how to be carpenters and how to do drywall. Now they passing that information along to their kids and their siblings, and they're using that information to box us out. That's what they're doing. They following our game plan. They didn't have these skills before they got here. But we're not teaching our kids that we could still get into some of these programs. Most community colleges in every city offers carpentry classes. But no, we was telling our kids, go be a computer scientist. Guess what? There are no more computer scientists. After 2000, when all of that got phased out, and a lot of us got debt, got worthless degrees working in Walmart with a computer science degree that's worthless. And then they tell us stuff like, oh, we need to be retrained. Retrained as what? What is the retraining ain't been working. They've been doing that for about 10, 15 years. The retraining ain't working. Because they're not training us in the things that are needed. The vocations that we used to dominate. We got to teach our kids. We got to start building businesses. When the reason Asians are number one in business in income is because they're 1 in 10 of them own a business. That's higher than white folks. And when you go down the line, it's a direct correlation. When you look at every group going down the line, black people, I think, is one out of 194 or something. We don't own, and then we don't even support our businesses. And then when we have businesses, we go put our businesses in other communities who ain't supporting us. That's counterproductive. We need to build businesses and own property in our own communities. But see, y'all old folks think y'all know everything. And so that's why y'all still can't admit that y'all wrong. Y'all didn't prepare us. We did what we were asked to do as a group. But y'all didn't prepare us for the world that was coming. Y'all tried to prepare us for the world y'all wanted based on the past. Y'all didn't look around and see what was happening around y'all. That's why the prison industrial complex got ramped up. That's why the welfare system got ramped up. That's why they phased out the vocations. Out of the schools, you used to could graduate high school as a certified plumber or a certified electrician or a certified mechanic and come out immediately out of high school making a great paying job. That's how a lot of y'all got y'all jobs. Making close to the median household income or above it. We ain't nowhere close to that. The median household income today for black people is $19,000. So we making slightly more than what the median household was back in the day. So if you adjust for inflation, which is the median household income now is right around 53,000, we ain't even close to it. So this is why y'all were able to accomplish things that we weren't. Buy houses. Hell, most of us can't even afford an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment in whatever city in the country we live in. Y'all didn't prepare us for that because y'all didn't educate yourselves economically. So now we got to fix the problem. I'm not mad at y'all. Y'all did the best. Y'all did what y'all thought was right. Now it's time to say, hey, we was wrong. But a lot of y'all can't do that. Y'all rather go into church and hoop and holler. They ain't been doing nothing for us, our communities. They ain't preparing us. Hell, they ain't even teaching us the Bible. We got to start preparing. Because, see, white churches, they got economic programs in their church. These big old churches, they got daycares, economic programs, resources that they putting into their communities. After school programs. Hell, when we want something, when we need help, a lot of times we got to go to their churches. We can't even go to our own churches. Y'all have failed. It's time to recognize it. Maybe you could start correcting some stuff in the grandchildren generation. Whatever it's called, Y, Z, whatever the hell they calling it now. Not the millennials, because it's almost too late for them. But the next generation that's coming up, Y, Z, whatever they calling it, we got to give them the tools and tell them the truth so they know what they got to go up against. They got to compete. See, they told my generation that in school, you got to be twice as good as a white person. They used to tell us that. I remember being in VLD and they told us that. They was close. We had to be 5 times better. Now I'm telling you, hell, just to get what a dropout gets, you got to be 15 times better. With a college degree, you got to be 15 times better than a dropout. That's the truth. These kids need to know that. Just going to college ain't the answer. Education has not changed anything. Nothing. They've made it obsolete. They've made our education obsolete. And then the recession that Barack tried to save us from wiped out all the little bitty gains we was making. We were starting to make some gains, and it wiped us out. Because we didn't have any wealth or resources to fall back on like our counterparts had. They had wealth and resources to fall back on. So even though they was getting laid off and jobs is doing all the funky stuff they was doing, like GM and all the rest of the companies and the banks, they was able to afford to sit out of work for a couple of years because they had wealth and resources. But we live in paycheck to paycheck because a lot of times y'all don't pass any wealth to us. We inherit debt. That's what we inherit, or nothing at all. So we either negative or at zero. That's y'all legacy. It's time to be honest about it. And it's time to be honest to the next generation. Let them know what happened so they don't make the same mistakes. That's the reality of it. Some of y'all ain't gonna like it. I don't care. I really don't care what you think. Because you can't argue. All you're going to do is give me opinions and lash out at me with your opinions. Give me some statistics where I'm wrong. You can't. You can't. That's the truth. We need to pass that, at least give the truth to these kids. That's what we need to start doing. Stop running and living next to other groups of people. We need to stop doing that. Build up our own community so our schools will get better and our neighborhoods will get better. We got to start telling the truth how to compete economically. That's what we got to start doing. That's what I'm doing what the Bible told me to do. Cry aloud and spare not. So I don't care how y'all feel. God told me to do it. That's in the scripture. Not come as you are, because that ain't in the scripture. See? Y'all ain't been teaching us the right shit. Y'all been teaching us all that made up slave shit that y'all still regurgitating and repeating and recycling. It ain't in the scriptures. A lot of these sayings that y'all been saying to us all these years, it ain't even in there. That's why the churches themselves ain't prospering, because the churches ain't keeping the commandments. I'm trying to keep this about economics, not biblical. But it goes together. That's what it is. And then y'all want to say opinions and then put facts behind them. No, it ain't no fact. It's an opinion. It ain't a fact. Give us the facts. These are the truth. We, my generation, and the millennials, Generation X and the millennials, it's time to tell your kids the truth now, because they already behind the 8 ball the day they was born. So maybe some of them can catch up if they know how to fight. We got to tell them. We got to be real with them. Or they just going to be going to work for Esau. And Esau, hell, phasing us out. They can't even go be a cashier at McDonald's because they got automated kiosks now. Siri at McDonald's selling burgers now. We can't even go, the kids can't even go do that. They're going to phase all the cashiers out. Pretty soon, ain't going to be no cashiers. They ain't going to be able to go to Walmart and be a cashier. They ain't going to be able to do that. They already got self-checkout lines. You already can use your phone and shop. All you got to do is check out. They phasing us out. You go to Walmart, and maybe 2 or 3 registers open. They're phasing us out. Y'all haven't prepared us for this because y'all been denying it. Y'all been making up excuses. Instead of looking inside, y'all been pointing out and lashing out and blaming us for us. And we doing what y'all told us to do. All this stuff is happening. How do you explain it? We're going to be automated right on out. There ain't going to be no more truck drivers. They're going to have self-driving cars about time these kids is coming into the workforce. They're going to have self-driving trucks and cars. They're going to automate all of this. So we're not building our own businesses and supporting our own communities. We're going to be phased right on out with them. Even they already doing the call centers that way. I got 5 calls today from automated telemarketers. They sound so real. Siri sounds so real now. And you don't even realize it's a human. Not a human, rather. We ain't even realizing it. So they instead of having us make these calls, they got Siri making these calls. Y'all didn't prepare us for this world. But we got to prepare these kids for this world. It's up to us now. But some of y'all trying to be nicety nice and all of that. That ain't what the scriptures say, y'all. He said, cry aloud, spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Stop biting y'all tongues, people. If your mama wrong, if your grandmama wrong, she wrong. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. God said, let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead bury the dead. Okay? What that means is he's talking about the spiritual dead. That's what he calls the congregation of the dead. People who ain't keeping the commandments. People ain't walking right doing what they supposed to do. Okay? You got to do something. You can't just go to church and hoop and holler. You got to do something. It's laws, it's rules we supposed to have been following. Y'all didn't follow them. That's why all y'all leaders got killed off. Because they wasn't keeping the commandments. They want to beg Esau. We was told not to do that. We supposed to be above them. That's what God said. He chose us to be above all other nations. Not to be begging them. That's our punishment for not listening the other times. And y'all still doing it, old folks. But let the dead bury the dead, he said. If they ain't going to follow my rules, let them bury each other. Come follow me, is what he said. We all grew up with them pictures of white Jesus in the house. White Jesus, Martin Luther King, and John F. Kennedy. We all had them in our house, in our grandmother houses. We ain't supposed to do that. Jesus ain't white. Nowhere in the Bible is there a description of Jesus with white with straight hair. Nowhere. But y'all had them pictures up in y'all houses. In your churches. Y'all worshiping that. That's a graven image. You ain't supposed to do that. Time to tell these kids the truth so they have a fighting chance. It's time. It is time. Tell them the truth. Now, y'all old folks, to be fair, y'all had some things together. Y'all did a lot of good things that your children didn't do. You didn't pass it along to your children. So my generation didn't get it. A lot of it. Y'all had some things together, but we didn't build on that. That's why we ain't got nothing to inherit. We ain't get nothing from my grandparents. We ain't get nothing from my parents. Nothing. But why the white kids, they getting all that shit. This is the truth. Yeah, some of y'all ain't gonna like it because we hate correction. We hate correction. It don't say it say respect your elders. It don't say don't correct them. Because sometimes the elders, You may still be a baby in the spirit, even though you old as shit. You're still a baby mentally and in your spirit. So y'all supposed to get correction too. But y'all can't nobody tell y'all nothing. We can't even ask you nothing. Y'all get mad when somebody asks you a question. Y'all just want it to be y'all way, and that's the end of it. Hang up the phone, get off the phone. That's how y'all want it. Can't ask no question. If I ask a question, somehow y'all think that's disrespectful. I'm just asking a question. And y'all expect us to know things that we ain't have no way of knowing. Because ain't nobody ever told us some of these things y'all expect us to know. You ain't tell us. But them white kids, them Chinese kids, them Japanese kids, them Indian kids, them Arab kids, they parents is telling them exactly what the plan is, exactly what the shit is about. They letting their kids go to work for them earlier. We ain't had that. But I'm not going to make this a long video, because I sound like I'm fussing, and I'm really not. But I ain't sparing your feelings because I was told not to. You got a problem with me? Go talk to your pastor. Ask him about the scripture. Or go pray to God and ask him to change it. I don't care what y'all think no more. I don't care. Don't care. I got a responsibility. I got a job to do for the next generation. I can't save y'all old folks. Can't save y'all. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. Like and share. Follow V.